You have been working your whole life, and right now, you are one layoff, one medical bill, or one bad year away from losing everything. That changes today. If you are between 30 and 65 years old, this video was made specifically for you, not for college kids looking for their first job, not for tech bros in Silicon Valley. This is for the person who has been showing up, punching in, doing the right thing their whole life, and still feels like the finish line keeps moving further away. Maybe you have a 401k that makes you nervous every time the market dips. Maybe you are still paying off a mortgage, still helping your kids, still sending money home to aging parents. Maybe you lie awake at night wondering, is this it? Is this all I built? Here is the hard truth nobody tells you. The employee mindset, the one you were raised to have, was never designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to make someone else wealthy, while keeping you comfortable enough to stay. But that is not your fault, and more importantly, it is not too late. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through everything. We will talk about how to stop thinking like an employee. We will talk about what generational wealth actually means. And I am going to give you a real practical roadmap that works for normal Americans. Not millionaires, not influencers, regular people just like you. Stay with me, because what I am about to share could change not just your life, but the life of your children and their children after them. Let me tell you about a man named Robert. Robert was 52 years old. He had worked at the same company for 24 years. He had never been late, never missed a deadline. He got his reviews, collected his raises, never more than 3% a year, and was told year after year that he was a, quote, valuable asset. Then one Tuesday in October, Robert got a meeting request from HR. 30 minutes later, his badge was deactivated. Robert was not lazy. Robert was not incompetent. Robert did everything right by the old rules. But Robert had spent 24 years building someone else's dream. And now, at 52, with 2 kids in college, a mortgage with 8 years left on it, and a 401k that could not carry him through the next 20 years, Robert had to start over. Robert is not a fictional character. Robert is your neighbor. Robert might be your father. Robert might be you. Now let me tell you about a woman named Linda. Linda never had a high-paying job. She was a school administrator for 18 years. She made decent money, nothing spectacular, but Linda had a different mindset. At 41, she bought a small duplex with her savings. She rented out one side. At 44, she used that rental income to buy a second property. At 49, she started a small tutoring business on the side. By 55, Linda had 3 income streams that had nothing to do with her employer. When Linda's school district downsized and offered early retirement packages, Linda did not panic. Linda smiled, because Linda had already been thinking like an owner for 14 years. Linda is not a genius. Linda is not lucky. Linda simply changed how she thought about money, work, and time. The difference between Robert and Linda is not income. It is not education. It is not timing. It is mindset. And today, we are going to fix yours. Now let us start at the root of the problem. The employee mindset. You were not born with it, it was taught to you. From the time you were old enough to understand what work meant, every adult around you, your parents, your teachers, your community, told you the same formula. Go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, work hard, retire at 65. That formula made sense in 1966. It barely holds together in 2026. Here is why. 1. You trade time for money, and time is the one thing you cannot get back. When you are an employee, you sell your hours. Your employer buys those hours and uses them to create far more value than they pay you for. That is the deal. It is not a secret. It is the entire business model of employment. The problem is you only have 24 hours in a day, and you can only work so many of them. So your income has a ceiling, a hard ceiling. No matter how hard you work, how good you are, how loyal you stay, you will never out-earn your employer by being an employee, because they have designed the system so that you will not. 2. You build no equity. Equity means ownership. It means you own a piece of something that grows in value over time. When you work a job, you build no equity. You build your employer's equity. You help grow their company, their brand, their customer base, their profit. When you leave, or when they ask you to leave, you walk out with nothing but a reference letter and whatever is left in your 401k. 3. Your income stops when you stop. This is the silent killer of the employee life. If you get sick, if you get injured, if you get fired, if you get too old to perform at the level they expect, your income stops. Just like that. The machine keeps running. They hire someone else. And you are left figuring out how to survive without the one thing you built your whole financial life around, that paycheck. 4. You are always one decision away from zero. This is the one that keeps people up at night, and it should, because it is true. Every single employee, no matter how senior, no matter how valued, no matter how long they have been there, can be let go. And in America today, with AI outsourcing and corporate restructuring happening at record speed, that risk has never been higher for people in the 40 to 65 age range. Now here is something important. I am not saying being an employee is shameful. It is not. Employment is honorable work. The problem is not having a job. The problem is only having a job. The problem is letting your entire financial identity, your entire sense of security, and your entire retirement plan rest on a single source of income that someone else controls. That is the trap. And now let us talk about how to get out of it. Note, switching from an employee mindset to an owner mindset does not mean you have to quit your job tomorrow. It does not mean you need to have $1 million sitting in a bank account. It means you start seeing the world differently, starting today. Here are the key shifts you need to make. Shift 1. Stop selling time. Start building assets. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket without you having to show up for it. A rental property is an asset. A dividend-paying stock is an asset. A business that runs without you is an asset. A digital product, a course, a book, a tool is an asset. An employee spends their life adding to other people's assets while their own asset column stays empty. Your mission, starting today, is to build your own asset column, even slowly, even imperfectly. Every single asset you own is one step away from the employee trap. Shift 2. Stop thinking about salary. Start thinking about cash flow. Employees think in annual salary. I make $75,000 a year. Owners think in monthly cash flow. I receive $3, $200 a month from my rental, $800 from dividends, and $1, $100 from my consulting work. Do you see the difference? One number depends entirely on you showing up. The other numbers arrive whether you show up or not. When your monthly cash flow exceeds your monthly expenses, you are financially free. That is the simple definition of financial freedom. Not, I have $1 million. It is, my money works harder than I do. Shift 3. Stop avoiding risk. Start managing it. Here is what the employee mindset does to your relationship with risk. It teaches you to fear it. Because in a job, risk is dangerous. If you take a risk at work and it goes wrong, you could lose your job. So employees become risk-averse. They stay in their lane. They follow the rules. They do not rock the boat. But outside the job, that same risk avoidance is costing you your future. Not investing, because the market might drop. Not starting a side business because it might fail. Not buying that property because what if something goes wrong? All of that caution is keeping you poor. Wealthy people do not avoid risk. They study it, understand it, reduce it where they can, and accept what remains. They know that the biggest risk of all is doing nothing, because inflation, rising costs, and time will erode everything you have if you leave it sitting still. Shift 4. Stop spending. Start investing. The employee mindset says, I worked hard, I deserve this. And yes, you do deserve good things. But there is a difference between spending on what you enjoy and spending on what you think gives you status or signals success. The new car, the designer outfit, the vacation you put on a credit card. These are not rewards, these are leaks. Every dollar that leaves your pocket without building something for your future is a dollar working against you. The owner mindset asks a different question before every purchase. Is this making me richer or poorer over time? That does not mean living like a monk. It means being intentional. It means treating your future self as the most important person you are spending money on. Shift 5. Stop working for one. Start building multiple streams. The IRS has a term for this. They call it multiple income streams. Wealthy Americans, the ones who are actually building generational wealth, rarely have just one income source. Studies consistently show that the average millionaire has 7 income streams. 7. You do not need to get to 7 overnight. But you do need to get from 1 to 2. Because 1 income stream is fragile, 2 is a start. 3 starts to feel like freedom. We will talk about exactly what those income streams look like for someone your age with your resources in just a few minutes. Listen, we are halfway through, and I want to make you a promise. Everything I have talked about so far, the mindset shifts, the asset building, the multiple income streams, it is all contexts, it is all setups. Because in the next few minutes, I am going to give you the specific, actionable blueprint, the exact steps, the exact tools, the exact order in which to do them. Do not skip ahead. Do not close this tab, because what comes next is the part that actually changes things. However, before I give you the blueprint, I want to make sure we agree on what we are building toward, because generational wealth gets thrown around a lot, and people either think it means being a billionaire, which it does not, or they think it is only for certain kinds of families, which is completely wrong. Generational wealth is simply this: assets and resources that you build during your lifetime that can be transferred to your children and grandchildren, giving them a head start you never had. It is the house that is paid off before you die, so your kids inherit it free and clear. It is the business you build that your daughter runs after you retire. It is the investment account you started at 45 that is worth $600,000 by the time your grandchildren go to college. It is the life insurance policy that means your family does not have to scramble when you are gone. It is the financial education you pass on, the lessons, the habits, the mindset, so that your kids never think like employees. Generational wealth is not about showing off. It is about stopping the cycle. Because here is a hard truth that we need to name out loud. For generations, many American families, particularly Black, Latino, and working-class white families, were deliberately cut off from the tools that build wealth. Redlining blocked home ownership. Discrimination blocked business loans. Low wages blocked savings. That history is real, and it is still playing out in household balance sheets across this country. But you sitting here watching this video, making these choices, you are breaking that cycle, and that matters more than any individual dollar amount. Now let me ask you a direct question. What do you want to leave behind? Not just money. Think bigger. Think about the lessons you want your kids to know. Think about the businesses that could carry your family's name. Think about the properties, the portfolios, the opportunities that your grandchildren will have access to because of decisions you are making right now. That is what we are building, not just a retirement plan. A legacy. All right. So, here is the blueprint. 7 steps. In order. Starting from where you are right now. Step 1. Get crystal clear on your numbers. You cannot fix what you cannot see. So before anything else, you need to know exactly where you stand. Write down your monthly income. Everything coming in. Then write down every monthly expense, every subscription, every payment, every bill. Be ruthless and honest. Most people who do this exercise find anywhere from $200 to $800 a month they are spending on things that are not serving their future. That gap, the difference between what comes in and what goes out, is your starting capital. Even if it is $200 a month, that is $400 a year. Invested consistently at a 7% average return over 20 years, that is over $100,000 from $200 a month. That is the power of compound growth. But it only works if you start. Step 2. Eliminate high-interest debt. Credit card debt is a wealth killer, period. If you are carrying balances at 18, 22, 24% interest, nothing you invest will beat that cost. Pay it off first. Use the avalanche method, pay minimums on everything, and throw every extra dollar at the highest interest debt first. Then move to the next. This is not glamorous, but it is foundational. Step 3. Build your emergency fund. Before you invest a single dollar, you need a cushion. 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a high-yield savings account, untouched. This is your protection. This is what keeps you from liquidating investments at the worst possible moment because the car broke down or the roof needs replacing. Without this cushion, every financial setback sends you backwards. With it, setbacks are just inconveniences. Step 4. Maximize tax-advantaged accounts. If your employer offers a 401k match, take every penny of it. That is an instant 50 to 100% return on your money. Nothing in the market beats that. At 50 and older, the IRS allows you to make catch-up contributions to your 401k and IRA. That means you can put in significantly more than younger workers. Use it. Open a Roth IRA if you qualify. You invest after-tax dollars now, and the growth is completely tax-free when you withdraw in retirement. For someone in their 40s or 50s, this is one of the most powerful legal tools available to you. Step 5. Build your first income stream outside your job. This is where the real transformation happens. You need at least one income stream that is not tied to your employer. Here are real options for people your age. Rental property. Even a single-family home you rent out creates monthly cash flow, builds equity, and appreciates over time. You do not need to start with an investment property. Some people start by renting out a room in their own home, or buying a duplex and living in one side. Dividend investing. Buy shares in companies that pay dividends, regular cash payments just for owning the stock. Reinvest those dividends early, and in a decade, you have a real passive income machine. Consulting or freelancing. You have 20 or 30 years of professional experience. Someone will pay for that expertise. You can consult in your field on the side. You can train, coach, advise, or manage projects. This requires no startup capital, just the knowledge you already have. Digital products, an online course, an ebook, a template, a downloadable guide. You create it once and it can sell forever. If you have expertise in any area, cooking, accounting, teaching, fitness, home repair, anything, there is a market for what you know. A small local business, a cleaning service, a landscaping operation, a food catering side hustle. These businesses are simple, scalable, and do not require a degree. You do not need to do all of these. Pick one. Start small. Stay consistent. Step 6. Invest in real estate, even if you start small. Real estate has created more millionaires than virtually any other asset class in American history. And unlike the stock market, it is something most people your age already understands. Here is what you need to know. Real estate builds wealth in 4 ways at once. Rental income, appreciation in property value, your tenant paying down your mortgage, and tax benefits that most employees never see. You do not need to be rich to start. Many investors begin with a small down payment on a modest property. The key is finding a property where the rent covers the mortgage, taxes, and maintenance. If it does that, it is a win. If buying property outright feels out of reach right now, look at REITs, real estate investment trusts. These are companies that own income-producing real estate, and you can invest in them through a brokerage account for as little as a few $100s. You get real estate exposure without being a landlord. Step 7. Protect what you build. This step gets overlooked. It should not. Get a term life insurance policy that covers your family for at least 10 to 12 times your annual income. Make sure your beneficiaries are up to date on every account you own. Create a will. If you do not have one, nothing you build gets distributed the way you intend. Courts will decide, and it will cost your family time, money, and emotional pain at the worst possible moment. Consider a trust if you own real estate or have significant assets. A simple revocable living trust can keep your estate out of probate and pass your wealth directly to your heirs without delays or legal fees. This step is not about being morbid. It is about respecting the work you have done and making sure it reaches the people you love. The blueprint is powerful, but here is what I know about human beings. We do not fail because we do not have the information. We fail because the old habits come back. The old voice in our head, the employee voice, starts whispering, "This is too risky. This is not for people like me." Just keep your head down and wait for things to get better. So here are the daily habits that keep the owner mindset alive. Read 15 minutes a day about money, investing, or business. Not the news, not social media. Books. Real books by real people who built real wealth. Start with The Richest Man in Babylon, then Rich Dad, Poor Dad, then The Millionaire Next Door. These are not long books. They will change how you think permanently. Find your people. You become who you spend the most time with. If everyone around you thinks like an employee, complains about their boss, lives paycheck to paycheck, never talks about investing, you will drift back to that mindset. Seek out one person, one group, one community of people who are building something. That energy is contagious. Track your net worth monthly. Not obsessively, just once a month. Write down what you own and what you owe. Subtract one from the other. That number, your net worth, is the real scoreboard, not your salary, not your title. Your net worth is what you are actually building. Watch it grow. Let that growth motivate you. Talk to your children about money, early and often. Break the silence. Most American families never talk about money and then wonder why their kids repeat the same financial mistakes. Tell your kids what you are building. Show them how investing works. Explain why you made certain choices. You are not just building wealth. You are passing on the mindset that protects it. Listen, you are not too old. You are not too late. You are not too anything. The people who build generational wealth are not smarter than you. They are not luckier than you. They simply decided, at some point, that the old formula was not enough. That showing up, collecting a paycheck, and hoping for the best was a plan for survival, not a plan for legacy. You have been surviving long enough. The next chapter of your life is not about working harder in someone else's machine. It is about building something that outlasts you. Something your kids will point to with pride. Something your grandchildren will benefit from before they ever understand what you sacrificed to create it. Every wealthy family started somewhere. Some started with land. Some started with a single business. Some started with a savings account that never went untouched. But they all started. They all made a decision to think differently, to see themselves not as employees of life, but as the owners of their own story. Today is your day to make that decision. Not tomorrow. Not when the market is better. Not when the kids are grown or the mortgage is paid. Today. Because today is all you have. And today is enough. If this video spoke to you, here is what I need you to do right now. First, share this video. Send it to a friend, a sibling, a coworker who needs to hear this. You might change someone's life with a single share. Second, subscribe and hit the bell. We are going deep on this topic every single week. How to invest in real estate on a regular salary. How to start a side business after 40. How to protect your assets legally. How to talk to your kids about money. Third, leave a comment below. Tell me, what is the one thing you are going to do differently starting today? I read every single comment, and your answer matters. This is your time. Let us build something together.